What would you do in this scenario? So you have a child who is now entering their fourth year, but for the past couple years, as they've been working on potty training, you've just had them wearing a shirt around the house and no pants to have them get used to recognizing when they need to go to the bathroom. And because of that, you've had some conversations about times and places where this would be appropriate and where this would not be appropriate. That our private parts are private, and there are places where it would not be okay to walk around with just a t-shirt on, but that because they're potty training and it helps them figure out when they need to go to the bathroom, this is a time in the privacy of their own home where that might be okay. You've gone through that transition now. You've actually taught them the private part song, and you've given them some more instruction about why private parts are private and what makes them special, and why we need to keep them covered up. So now your child is 4 years old, entering preschool age, entering an age where they're kind of having more play dates and being able to just play in small groups with other children. And you invite some other of their little friends from their preschool over to your house, and they're just playing quietly in the living room. And you step out for a minute to fold some laundry. Everything was fine. You didn't hear, the telltale silence that makes you know that something is up. And after their friends leave, they act a little bit uncomfortable, and you can just sense it. So you ask some questions. Hey, what did you play today with your friends? What did you like? What did you not like? And you find out that some of their friends wanted to play a doctor game, and kids were lifting up their shirts or pulling down their pants to be silly in that brief moment that you were outside of the room. And they weren't exactly sure what they were supposed to do. Because at this age, there's so much curiosity about bodies. And we have a tendency sometimes to want to put our adult understanding on childhood curiosity. And it can be easy to misunderstand what they're trying to figure out with bodies and kind of give that a more mature connotation than it needs. So, how would you handle that situation? Let's talk about the ideal. Number one, ideally, you would have before this point, like the person in the story, have taught them about private parts, have taught them about bodies, have taught them about the private parts song. And I will link that song down below in the description box. I think it's wonderful for preschool age children to feel empowered about what to do when someone tries to touch their private parts, and having a discussion about when that might be okay, if they're getting their bottom changed or they're at a doctor's office getting a physical, and when it's not okay, when a babysitter might try to touch them inappropriately, or a friend, or if there's ever a time where they feel unsafe or uncomfortable if someone is trying to touch their private parts, and what they need to do about it. So, in an ideal situation, those conversations would have already taken place. And because of that, you could have spent some calm moments together talking about what they could do if they ever felt uncomfortable in this situation again. Meaning, if they can see that people are showing their private parts and they shouldn't be, and this is again at a young preschool age, could you practice with them what they could do? For example, you could practice saying, hey, let's not lift our shirts up when they play this game. Let's just have the doctor put their stethoscope, a 4-year-old can't say that, but their doctor gear over our clothes instead. Or, hey, let's play a different game. Or if they're in a scenario that you haven't talked about with them yet and they're not sure what to do, that they can just come get you and that you will help them. Or if they're at a friend's house and they're in that sort of a situation and they have questions, they can always come home and talk to you about it, and you will help them know what to do and help them figure it out. That would be the ideal. Because of that ideal, your child then is able to establish that you are a safe, calm place for them to reach out to when they have questions or confusion, or if they need help, or if they feel scared or unsafe. That mom and dad and teacher are all there to help protect them and help them become who they're supposed to be and teach them the right ways that bodies are to be used, the importance of privacy and private parts, and how to respect others. Okay, what would we do in a less than ideal situation, in a reality where we maybe didn't handle things the way that we should have in that ideal situation? What if, number one, we weren't paying attention at all, that our child was feeling uncomfortable or was a little quiet, and we didn't even notice? Or what if when they brought that up, we said, oh my gosh, that's gross. You guys shouldn't be playing that. That's disgusting. Don't ever do that again. You know better than that. How could you? What if those were our reactions instead? Then that gives a message to our child that we think they're gross. We think they're disgusting. We make them feel shame, and they don't want to come talk to us again in the future because we react strongly and harshly. So we're not really a safe place to turn. So if that's something we've been in the past, that or the other end of the spectrum, which is there's no reaction at all or no support or help at all, we establish ourselves as not being a safe, trusted source of information, a safe place our child can turn to, and they will go elsewhere for information that they need. If that's been the case, and maybe you haven't handled things well in the past, guess what? You can apologize and start again and try having healthier habits and healthier practices and educating your children on these important topics. If you need help getting there, that's what this book is all about. Helping you have the resources and information and principles set in place that you need to teach your children to help them develop healthy sexuality, and that you know the timelines and time frames and maturity levels that they need to be at when you have these discussions. You can find this on my website. There's a link in the description box below. You can also find a link to my family home evening lessons that are all focused on teaching healthy sexuality and having discussions about what healthy sexuality looks like, that your family can have a discussion. They're just kind of a plug and play, easy option to get you started. If you need more support and you have some questions and need to get some clarity on what you need to do next moving forward, you can schedule a guidance session with me. That's linked in the description box below as well. You can also find a link to free resources with all of the books and guides and podcasts and videos that I have used over the last 20 years in helping to teach kids about healthy sexuality. We'll see you next time.